You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that? Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We've got all kinds of shit to talk about today. Oh, I swore already. Oh well. I guess shit's not really that big of a one. They're more worried about the F-bombs.
We're screwed regardless. I think monetization is now up to like 30 minutes. So
yeah. Well, speaking of getting banned, we got an awesome BJ video for you later. So we'll be covering that.
Safe for work too.
And we'll be covering all about the style, the mechanics of BJ. And yeah, we'll get down to the nitty gritty about what it's all about or what he's all about. Just wanted to say that Brett and I will be going on a date again today. I'll be asking him modern questions that the website The Good Trade recommends to young people on a date, on a first date. Yeah. The turd in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. I don't have anything to say, but Lee Hamilton returned to U.S. men's national team talk." Lee Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yes, it was bad. Almost as bad as a BJ from Jason Christ. While my wife shits on his chest. Let me fix that for you. Well, wait a minute. Lee Hamilton is a former congressman from Indiana.
Derek, we have this conversation at least once every month or so. Lee Hamilton's also that old fucker from San Diego that talks about soccer.
Oh, can we just
like
call
the worst
him by?
thing ever.
Can we just call him by?
Well, it's Hacksaw. That wasn't Hamilton. It was Hacksaw, wasn't it?
Yeah. Can we just call him Hacksaw?
Hacksaw.
Yeah.
Hacksaw, yeah.
That way I won't get confused. You know what I mean? Because to me, Lee Hamilton is a guy I've talked to before. He represented my area like 20 years ago. 30, 20, something like that. Anyhow, he used to call me all the time to make sure I'd get out and vote. Hey, you're going to get out and vote? I'm like, yeah. Okay, Brett, what's the deal with the close-ups? Uh-oh.
There you go.
There we go.
It's testing something. Could you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
If you're going to test, you should say something like testes.
Just wanted to shock and surprise you. Like, oh, what happened there?
Mike, testes.
Of course. Testes.
1, 2, 3.
I forgot to switch off autofocus on my camera, so I might go in and out of blurriness from time to time.
You're not moving around at all. You're not autofocusing.
It happens. It happens from time to time, and I notice it.
Well, stand the fuck still then.
Look, did you see it? It zoomed into my face.
All right, we're going to get through this. By the way, one of the bands I heard this weekend while shopping at Myers was a horrible song by Collective Soul.
Ooh.
There was a garbage band. Woo! Damn, they were straight up horrible. Also, this weekend I had an issue washing dishes. I don't know. Some mornings I wake up and I'm just in a bad mood, right? And I had to wash a bunch of dishes. Oh, it wasn't a bunch. I'm only one person, but I made ribs and all the shit. So it's like coated with, all the shit. And I swear to God, it didn't matter how hard I scrubbed. I could not get this one fucking pan clean. And I was getting fucking pissed off, man. I'm like, you dirty fucking whore. Get clean, you fucking whore, bitch. I mean, I was swearing right here in my apartment all by myself at a pan.
All your neighbors think you're sexist, as if you were like yelling at some woman to do it because you kept calling it a whore. Clean this pan, clean the pan, yeah.
You dirty slut. Get clean. It wasn't good.
Scrub.
It wasn't good, but you know what?
Is it Jason Bateman from American Psycho? Jason. Either way, he picks up a prostitute, and before they go through the whole deed, he has her wash herself.
Oh, well, probably a smart move. Probably a smart move, I would say. I mean, if I did that, I certainly would recommend that. But then again, yeah, you might as well just dress up in a rubber, honestly.
Well, okay, so I know it's Christian
to...
Bale. I'm talking about his actual character's name. I thought it was still Jason Bateman, but I know that's also an actor too. I could look it up, but I'm hoping somebody in the chat would just come up with it.
Yeah, no clue. No clue here. I don't think I ever saw the movie.
It's a good movie. Patrick Bateman. That's it. Thank you.
Jason Bateman's an actual actor.
He's an actor. Yeah. That's why I was hesitant on saying that. It was Patrick Bateman. Yes.
Kind of a comedian. By the way, one of the questions on the date thing was, if your pet could talk, what would their voice sound like? It's like, that's so easy for me. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. My name is Gizmo. I'm a fucking dog. I enjoy farting and fucking licking my own nutsack. I mean, how hard is that? And she'd be like, okay, you've thought about this way too much. I'm the fuck out of it. This date is over.
That just means you talk to your dog, because we always had with my dog prior to Monty, and then also kind of with Monty to an extent. She pulled off some stuff like this, but it was always sort of like a dumb, like a super dumb best friend sound, like, where is my ball? I want my ball. Give me my ball. You know?
No, I mean, that's fine. That's how I imagine one of my parents' dogs talking. Ooh, squirrel. Oh, where's my ball? Oh, I got an itch. Oh, I'm gonna rub my ass on the rug. Oh yeah, it feels good.
Canadian? Is that what you're doing?
It feels good.
Your parents' dog is Canadian? Hey,
Dylan, stop rubbing your ass on the rug. No, it feels good. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Making the carpet smell like maple syrup.
All right, yeah. So my parents have 2 golden retrievers, but one of them is extremely smart, and the other one is extremely happy, dense, goofy, and just doesn't give a shit about anything. And he's just the one who rubs his ass on the carpet and all that shit. If there is anyone from the past I would rehire, it would be Bradley, then Arena. How about you, Derek and Brett? I'm probably not going to hire any of those guys back at this point. At one point, I was pretty pro Bradley, but
so yeah. Well, so the whole point of this, I'm sure everybody knows about this, is that there's talk of Berhalter coming back.
No,
yeah,
there is, but no.
I know, but I'm just saying. But yeah, that's the whole point of this question is, if you had to bring somebody back from the past, who'd you bring back? And it would be Bradley, and that'd be it.
Yeah, I mean,
would you bring Klinsmann back?
Fuck no. Hell no, I would not bring Klinsmann back. Listen.
Would you rehire Klinsmann as a technical director?
Maybe. He'd be better at that job than a manager. He's just not a manager.
Yeah.
He doesn't know tactics. He doesn't have a game plan, which is so weird, because we went from Klinsmann. He doesn't have
a system, though, Derek, so that's a positive, right?
I know. I kind of like that at this point. After having a system jammed up my asshole for fucking 4 years, I kind of like the lubricated idea of having a Klinsmann who has no fucking plan at all. Although he did show during the World Cup that he could get down to a nitty-gritty plan if he had to. And he did. And I thought that's why we did as well as we did. He finally said, okay, I'll listen to you motherfuckers, my assistant coaches, who are telling me we need to play this way if we're going to get out of the group. And he did. He did. But he's not the guy that's going to initiate. He's not the guy putting the little beads on the board saying, this is how we're going to line up. That's not Klinsmann. He doesn't do that shit. That's somebody else's job.
Just feel you hurt. Go
what?
With your brains. That's basically just feeling the game. I was trying to do my Klinsmann impersonation, but I don't have a Klinsmann impersonation. That's the problem.
No, Pete's the best at the Klinsmann. I can't even really do a Klinsmann. So I was imagining. What?
I was and this is kind of briefly talking about a topic we're going to cover later. But I saw Pete's video pop up today. It's like posted 36 minutes ago, and I click on it because it's like Pulisic wants to rehire Berhalter, and I'm watching this video, and as he's talking about it, he talks about the quotes and stuff like that. I'm like, did he just stumble across that one-on-one video like a month and a half ago?
No.
And so I eventually had to scroll through Twitter because I'm off Twitter. Probably for the next week or so, at the very minimum, because why? I'm on. Well, it's a summer break right now, and I get
got banned.
I get to work on iPad cleaning. Yay!
I know. See, this is when all the kids bring their iPad to Brett, and he's got to sign them out of their iPad, and then they get to go off.
Detox and throw them into a bucket of Clorox.
Yeah. And then you got to get it ready for next year's kids.
It's the grossest things in the world. I've said this from the get-go when it comes to this shit. We need to figure out how to a way that we just – that's your iPad. That's your iPad for the next 4 years. And if you leave, you've got to return the iPad. If you're new, you get a new iPad for the remaining cycle or whatever. But those are your iPads. You can take it home during summer. I don't want to have to clean it.
Oh, God. Is this K through 12?
7 and 8.
Okay.
But yeah. We K through 12 in general for K through 8 for iPads.
Still, it's going to have sperm on it, pussy juice.
Well, fortunately, we block a lot of this shit. But you can still Google search pictures.
I'm sure they can figure out a way around it. Yeah, I bet you they have.
They're pretty stealthy little kids, yeah.
Yeah, kids will do anything to watch a little porn and spank the monkey. All right, especially 8th graders.
Won't go into details there, yeah.
8th graders. I mean, just out of control. So, all right, Brett, let's go on a date. You ready?
Sweet. Where are we going?
I'm gonna be a hot chick, and I'm gonna ask you a question, and you're gonna be an eager beaver, and you want to make me happy, right?
I guess location doesn't really matter if you're a hot chick. So whether it's McDonald's or Ruth Chris, whatever, let's go for it.
Okay. So, Brett, what tasks make you feel like your best self? What tasks make you feel like your best self?
Oh, what tasks? Well, I guess hitting my record for shortest spank. That's pretty classic task.
Okay, that's your good try. If you would have said eating pussy, that would have been a more appropriate answer. Then again,
I gotta feel her out here. I can't just jump into it like that.
Feel her out, yeah. Sure. Although had you answered that as eating pussy, that may have sounded like you felt that was a task instead of something pleasurable.
It's a hobby, right?
Yes. So anyhow, that was the segment.
Some people make model cars. Some people paint Warhammer 40K figures. Some people eat pussy, right?
Yeah, sure. All right. So that was the.
We're only going for the one, huh?
Okay, let's do one more.
Sure, why not? We were already into it. Let's go.
Where do you feel? Excuse me. Where do you feel most centered and happy? Where do you feel most centered and happy, Brett? Most centered.
Never happy.
And happy. Of course, you're married. How can you possibly be? And you have 2 kids. You're just surviving. This isn't a matter of happiness.
This all facade right here, guys. This big smile. It's just it's those the troll photos on or gifs on the internet where it's like they have the happy face, mask on. Behind you can see them crying and sad face and everything. It's like that a lot.
And so my response as the woman would be, Brett, you never told me you were a married man before the date. I was
hoping to become happy. No.
I was really disappointed.
This will be the one show that she actually sits down and watch it. I guarantee it.
All right, this is the end of the segment called Brett and Derek Go on a Date Together.
We need to have like a little intro video that I'll play.
Yeah, we could do that. What's the is that like juices or something?
Yeah. That's
all right.
Animation. Up there, super autofocus. Hello, there, I'm back.
All right. Stand still, Brett.
Went to a different dimension there for a second.
It's funny because I can go super close-ups. Have no problem with the focus. All right.
Yeah, but yours doesn't focus or unfocus at all. Whereas, but it's blurry regardless of where you're at.
All right, let's get on with the show before I do something totally absurd. Like actually pick my notes live on air.
Yeah. Well, Berlin won't make it today. He's out busy. He's busy today.
Berlin says, won't make it again. My team made Bundesliga Nordost. Yeah. Thought I should share this. as always with love.
I love
Berlin.
it out of the yeah.
Yeah. Taylor has really put on a thick German accent since moving to Berlin, to Germany. My first job as a soccer coach was having Arab and Israeli 12-year-olds as players. It really needs to be said that Seeds of Peace makes great quality t-shirts. Seeds of Peace. Color Games, 1999. Color Games? What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Though Seeds of Peace could be a nice name for a porn, right?
Seeds of, something. Seeds of dispersal. Seeds of drowning in seed. I don't know, something like that.
No.
That's like a Bukkake video. All right, what else we got?
Well, Derek, how old were you when your mom could stop picking you up?
Oh, shit. I wouldn't let my mom pick me up past the age of 4.
Okay.
3?
Fair enough.
And my mom's, listen, my mom's German, so we got very little mothering. It was like, get the fuck over here, get the fuck, do this right now, go fucking take a bath, brush your fucking teeth, go to fucking bed. Here's your fucking food, eat your food. I mean, my mom wasn't the most tender. She's way more tender now than she was when I was growing up. She was a German woman whose father was a real, very German, no emotion, very steady, no excuses kind of dude. And so that's how she was, right? Like no real amount of accomplishment in anything got you you're doing so good. It's like if I were 12 and I said, Mom, I really want to be a professional tennis player when I grow up. My mom would say something like this. Yeah, well, that's going to take a lot of work. I don't think that's probably going to happen. That's my mom.
The parents know us the best. So
at least
they say that, then what? Maybe do that on side of going to college, right? Right.
I mean, I was a really good tennis player. My dad would have said something like this. Well, we're going to have to work really hard. Let's do it. My mom would be like, probably not. Well, maybe
your dad had the American dream in him. He's like, you can do anything,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and my dad was kind of half German, so at least he had half American going there, where he grew up in the United States for most of his life, and so he could bring a little sunshine, right? Now, my mom's great now. As she got older, she just kind of found more sunshine.
She found the American dream.
Although I don't think she found the American dream. What I think is she just lightened up a little.
Found an American husband.
She did become a little more Americanized, no doubt. She gained a sense of humor.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff that, if you're going to be living here for 30, 40, 50 years, I think it's 45 years for her now. Yeah, you're going to gain a sense of humor, an American viewpoint, your behaviors will change. And so, but back when I was a kid, there ain't no messing around growing up. I mean, my mom was like, oh, come here, I love you. I want to hug you. Ooh, none of that shit. All right. My German grandmother told my dad, you couldn't even get second place when he got third in his high school class. That's very German. If you're not the winner, you're the loser.
So you're saying your German mother wasn't overly nurturing
not
your
young,
youth.
No.
But there are some parents out there that are very nurturing to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come back. There we go. Very nurturing, almost unnervingly nurturing.
Oh yeah, this video. Oh my God, dude. Listen, there is a reason. First of all, she's carrying around an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old, somewhere around there. How old do you think this kid is? 7?
7 or 8, yeah, about.
Why is she
6, 7,
holding a fucking 7-year-old like he's a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old? This is why he's grabbing your tit, you dumb bitch. Because you've been fucking breastfeeding this fucker until he was probably 6 or 7 years old. This is what he's used to. grabbing your boobies, sucking your titties. This is just bad. She's still mothering him to the point she's holding him at this age. And it's completely natural to him. You can see it's natural, right? He doesn't even think about it. You know, she has to say, "Hey, you're grabbing my
not public, not public. Come on, man."
Exactly. Take your hand off, she says.
Chris
I
Gary
believe.
says he does it and it's cute. I do it and I have a meeting with HR.
What does she say? Stop doing that or take your
I
hand
would
off?
imagine. Let's see. I'm gonna look at it now. Well, I think it's in a language.
A foreign language. Yeah, it's probably in a foreign language, so we can't exactly translate. But you know what?
Mind the other one too. Come on.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him grabbing his mother in the boob. I'm just saying.
John says he's actually the world's largest
2-year-old. Must be, man. But you know, you can tell that kid has been babied like crazy because he feels that comfortable grabbing his mom's tit. Listen, there is no way I would ever have thought. First of all, I was never breastfed, ever. All right. I went straight to the, what's that shit called? Formula? Yep. No breastfeeding for me, which is fine. I like the idea that I never sucked my mom's boobs. I think that's
so weird. We got 101 people watching us right now. I'm waiting for that number to dip down by like at least 30 there.
I'm just saying. I'm proud of that.
All right. So, well, I guess David D says, wait, breastfeeding at 7 isn't normal?
That's correct, David. It is not normal. That is something for an infant, and beyond the age of 2, it's getting weird. I'm sorry. Even at age, well, all right. I'll be very flexible here and say if you want to do that through the age of 2. How long did EB do it?
Well, Jackson had problems breaking down the protein in breast milk, and he went on some super duper crazy expensive formula.
Okay.
So with him it was never
like me
instantly. Yeah. Charlie lasted a year and a half or something like that.
That's probably that's
somewhere in that range.
Yeah, that's healthy.
I was just happy to have my storage of my garage freezer back.
Well, listen, if you're like a starving
put a couple
child,
more turkeys in there, you know.
Yeah, of course you did. If you're a starving child in India or Africa, you want to suck those tits as long as you can. I get it, but
just go to the cows next, right?
But we're here.
Take that out of context.
We're in America. You don't need to be sucking your mom's tits until you're 4. It's just nothing. There's nothing normal about that or correct. And it begins to make me wonder if the mom doesn't find that semi-erotic. It worries me. All right. Well,
doesn't want to let her little baby go. Speaking of curious drinks. Some people on the Twitter spheres might know a person named Dom
Dwyer.
Sure, let's say it's Dom Dwyer.
Okay.
No, Dom's on a lot of Diego's spaces and stuff like that. And he had posted a handful of days ago a tweet saying, "Hey, going out to the bar, I will order the first 3 responses on here's drinks. So you're supposed to come up with a drink, and he'll order it and drink it. And the first 3 drinks were like, order a vodka and Red Bull, order a Corona, order a I don't know, rum and Coke." And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys wasted the opportunity. It should
totally
have been order
lame.
A cement mixer.
Totally lame. Yeah.
So I said, order a cement mixer. And I was like, I'm bookmarking drinks. I will order that next. I'm like, okay, if you do, make sure you record that shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear back from him. So I sent a DM today. And I said, hey, did you ever order that cement mixer? He goes, no, 4 shots was enough. But, I'm going back out to the bars again later. Maybe I'll order it then. I'm like, all right, make sure you record it. And he's like, well, what's in it? Now, Derek, do you know what a cement mixer is?
I really don't. No.
Does anybody in the chat know what a cement mixer is?
Like a big mix of all kinds of different alcohols or something? What the fuck is it then?
It's two ingredients. It's most of the time it's Bailey's. You take a shot of Bailey's. You put it in your mouth. You hold Bailey's in your mouth.
Okay.
And then you take a small amount of lime juice and put it and combine it. You shake it in your mouth. The lime juice, the acidity of the lime juice, mixes with the creaminess of it and curdles in your mouth.
Gross. That's disgusting.
And he's like, no, bro, that's gross. I'm not going to order that. I'm like, yeah, no, it's usually ordered if you're going out to the bars with somebody who just turned 21. They're about 8 drinks in. You're like, here you go. Here's a drink. Drink this. And it's for shits and giggles.
So you want to know what it's like to drink a fat man's fucking semen? 2A cement mixer. Oh, by the way, tonight I am drinking a Leffe Blonde. It's a pretty good beer. It's not top of the line, but it's pretty tasty. I would recommend it. It's also fairly affordable. You could probably find it at a Kroger. That's another Belgian blonde.
Yeah.
And cheers to that. Oh, shit. The head's too big again. That's what she said. But seriously, this head is way large. All right. Where do you want to move next?
Well,
we going to get to soccer?
I've immediately run. Since I'm not on Twitter at all this week and much over the weekend, I hadn't really, created a backlog of fluff pieces, so I'm all out.
Well,
why don't we get into actual topics? We're 20.
That was plenty of fluff, Brett. Plenty of fluff.
We're only 27 minutes in. I mean, we still have a good 10 minutes of fluff before we get into our actual topics, Derek.
I think if you unnaturally stretch the fluff, it becomes, Time for soccer, says Cristiano. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Although we had a little soccer talk earlier.
Yeah.
And the woman who got her tit squeezed was at a soccer game.
Fair enough.
Let's be clear.
It's fair enough.
All right,
let's dive into the U20 recap and then with some U20 talk.
Oh, you want U20s?
Let's talk about the U20 game against Uruguay and the U20 World Cup as a whole. I guess we kind of talked about their group stage to an extent.
Do you have one word to describe that game? I don't care about the other games. Do you have one word to describe? I mean, the other games were fine, but that's a good word. Underwhelming.
Meh.
Going out with a whimper. Oh, that's several words. But yeah, it was disappointing. And you know what else? The other words I would describe it as robotic, uncreative.
No. Their corner kicks and set pieces were quite creative, actually.
Yeah, 2 of them. Really? I don't think that passes the bar.
2 out of 3. I mean,
how about open play, Brett? How was that creative?
You have one creative player on the pitch. What's your point?
Yeah, and he's Luna. That's the crazy part. You got one creative player on the whole pitch, and actually, the guy that comes in second is Kate Cowell, and Kate Cowell isn't exactly the most creative guy you've ever met. You know what he's going to do? He's going to cut in and try to
cut
shoot.
this right, rip a shot, try to rip a shot at least.
Hit the fucking right post and have it go in. I mean,
there's not a creative bone in his body. I mean, it's plain because when he got pushed out to the right, man, did you see much of him?
No.
What was he going to do?
Right. Nothing. So listen, I'm not bashing on these kids or anything like that. They did fine. We got to the corners like we always do, and then we lost like we always do lately. So it's
Christian says we needed Paxton, and I said we also missed Guti. Guti and Paxton would have been nice creative options in the midfield.
Everybody's missing somebody. Uruguay was missing like 4 players.
Yeah. They're missing 4 or 5. Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
They're missing like 3 of their key attackers. Yeah, from what I've read at least.
We're all dealing with that. It's just, I agree. Other players would have been nice to have. Pepe, technically,
U.S. in general lacked that depth of creativity. So you have those players who are creative, and all of a sudden, if they're gone, what are you left with?
Well, players, you're talking about the cream of the crop of the U19s. It's like Pepe, right? Pepe's part of that. He could have played. Who else could have played?
Gio couldn't play, couldn't he?
Paxton. I don't think did Gio qualify. I think what I'm saying is our best U20s.
He's 20 now. I don't know if he'd qualify.
Weren't there. It's so, and I mean, Brett, do you honestly see any of the guys you just watched playing in a top 5 league in the next 2 years? Can you name one of them
Well,
you think
you
is
mentioned
going to
this.
go?
You mentioned that. Do you want to continue talking about the game at all? That means.
I mean, what's to talk about? It was
I don't know.
boring. We didn't do anything. We just passed it around the back for endless times. It was like center midfielder to center back to center midfielder, the other center back out wide bat player, back to the center back to the center midfielder. It was fine. It was all possession with absolutely no meaning whatsoever until maybe the last 10 minutes of the first half and parts of the second half. But there was no creativity. There was not a guy who got the ball and said, outside of Luna, and said, you know, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take the ball forward. I'm going to do something amazing.
Well, and Paredes looked like he was trying to do that, but I felt like he almost was trying to do too much with it.
I'd agree.
Whereas Luna, I felt the same way with Luna, but I also felt more confident with Luna getting out of those tight spots too, or at least drawing the foul immediately. You know,
Paredes is better in a straight line than he is doing a bunch of little tricks in a tight space. Yeah. He's not horrible at it. He's just not going to be Diego Luna. Yeah, I mean, again, I asked the same question. If you want to talk about the game, you can, but I think the real summary you have to take away from this is who's contributing to the 2026 team. And I'm saying out of the guys I just watched on that team, no one.
2026 team? No. It would require, maybe Paredes would require massive development at this point.
Maybe Paredes has the best shot, right? Yeah. But he's got to learn to play left back if he really wants a shot because we got plenty of wingers. We'll see how Paredes develops in the next 2.5 years because that's going to be the determining factor. But I'm talking about mostly not the guys that are in Europe. Don't listen. Okay, let me clarify. The kids that are already in Europe, who the small amount of them that played on this team have an okay chance of at least at some point becoming a part of the U.S. men's national team. But outside of that, I don't see any of the kids that I just watched being better than very serviceable to very good MLS players.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't. Name me one.
Or hitting the MLS equivalent in Europe at some point. You know, like we said, we mentioned a number of leagues, like Belgium League and so forth, that are SPL. Maybe they're going to be serviceable there. But will they contribute with the actual national team? Maybe bits and parts. Some of these players will absolutely probably see playing time at some point with the national team. Predominantly going to be Camp Cupcakes, maybe Gold Cups. But whether or not they're contributing factors to the 2026 World Cup, I couldn't see any.
Winder was really disappointing even.
Ooh.
I think
I sent you that text too. You know?
Yeah.
All right. You had to do that today. I have to pull this up now, Derek.
Sorry. Derek looks like the type of guy to own a handkerchief. I actually don't. Believe it or not, I just use a common
an old
towel.
Sock. Oh.
It's a towel. A sock.
It's also his jerking off sock.
Oh, good point. That was something that's kind of buried in everybody's brain. Everyone had a jerk off sock, I think.
I think anybody had I think that's a no. I think most people did not have a jerk off sock.
When you were young, you didn't have a jerk off sock?
There's plenty of facial tissues and
did you just use tissue?
Why not?
I don't know.
Why would I waste the sock?
You were way ahead of me. I thought sock.
could have gone so much more vulgar with that too.
I'm glad we didn't.
So, all right. So here we are. We're watching the Cream Cheese's aka Trash Can Show.
Yep.
And they're talking about the U20s.
Yep.
So I figured let's go ahead and bring this up while we're talking about them, and we have a couple other things to go with this. I don't think there's much to talk about the game. We went over it. We talked about some players.
I really want to talk about how meandering and meaningless and how robotic it was. Yeah. It looked like a team that's been way overcoached. That's what it looked like to me.
But sorry. Let's see what Fabrizio has to say.
But okay, to be fair to Mikey Varas, it looks like a team that's way overcoached because it doesn't have a lot of super creative players. When you rewatch that game, they forced the ball in to Luna in the second half so many times when there were other people open. because he was the only hope they had.
Mhm.
And even the players knew it. They kept forcing it to Luna, who was out there on that wing for a while with Cal. And they figured that's where they're going to overload and they were going to make something happen. And they almost did,
Oh God,
to their credit. So
Jesse brings it up here. This is something that Cal would have got us. Cal would have actually gotten a goal,
Yep,
but Puks
that would have been a
decided
goal.
decided to stand there and block it.
yeah. Well done, Pukskas. Yep.
So
Okay. I mean, he didn't know what hit him.
sure, yeah. You know,
I mean-
I'm sure he knew exactly what hit him, but he's like,
But
didn't
I mean,
have time to react.
if Pukskas knows Cade Cowell like all of us do, he would have been getting his ass out, scurrying to the right as soon as it got to Cowell's feet, because we all know what he's going to do. He's going to cut inside and hit a right footer to the far post. Like, if you don't know that, then you don't know anything about Cade Cowell, because that's his signature move.
Chambers says we had nobody but Cal
willing to shoot. So true.
That's his one move, and that's fine. That works. If he scores some goals, he did during qualifiers, and he did during the group stage. But I mean, that's his one move. I mean, I always talk about this with a number of my friends who watch the sport when it's on, but don't really follow the inner workings like we do, and people in the chat like you do. But at what point did we stop just shooting the ball? What point did we have to drive it down to the side and try to cross it to the 6 for a flick on, nice little goal? When did we stop shooting from outside the box?
Probably when Klinsmann lost his job.
Because that's the most frustrating point of it all.
Because
we have nobody willing to just rip a shot from 20, 25 yards out, make the goalkeeper make a save. Who knows what happens?
We had guys during the Klinsmann era that would do that. Dempsey, Jones, at least a handful, right?
Yeah.
Now we got Dick Nobody, except for Cade Cowell.
Dick Nobody.
All right, what do we got?
That's
here?
how he's going to make his stamp with the U.S. national team. He'll be the one guy who shoots the fucking ball.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, yeah. So
we got Balogun now, right? He's going to shoot the ball.
But he's not really an outside the box guy. Balogun's penetrate and flick it over the keeper kind of guy.
What you're saying. Yeah.
He likes to penetrate the box and then flick it. You know what I mean?
He likes to get into the box and score, right?
He does. But
he's anti-Aronson, right?
That's correct. He doesn't twiddle out.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm so close to getting in. Oh no, I'm not gonna.
I'm not sure if people forgot that how hard Paxton carried us during qualifier.
Well, I remember.
Yeah. But that's a big thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, we would love to have had Paxton." Absolutely, because if you take him out of the equation, you're left during qualifier. You had what? Sullivan.
Yeah.
You had Wolf.
Yeah.
And Cowell. Those are your three other strikers.
None of them actual real center forwards either. And neither is Paxton.
No, he played a true out and out false nine in that sense.
Yep. But
kind of like what Berhalter was hoping to get out of Jesus, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, we can't go around saying, "Oh, but we didn't have so and so and that." Neither did Uruguay. We got to keep that in mind. They didn't have so and so and this and that and him and her, not her.
Yeah,
him.
and we had our chances against them, especially on some of our set plays. We had the Cal shot that got blocked by our own team, obviously. And then obviously Uruguay had the own goal that helped them out. So I mean, the game could have been different. It could have been different, despite the fact that the negatives we may be bringing up could have been different. But it wasn't different, and it wasn't because of creativity. It was because just constant ball control and pounding it through.
This team, if it gets by Uruguay, has a clear path to the final.
Oh, yes.
Clear path.
Oh, because Israel beat Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have asked for an easier path.
All you got to do is beat Uruguay. That's it. And when I say
all you had to do,
it was super doable. Super doable. And nobody stepped up to the plate and said, "You know what? I'm gonna ram a goal in today. I'm gonna go past one or two guys and score today. I'm going to make the pass, the through pass, the perfect pass. And nobody said, I'm not going to score on our own team either. I mean, that was klutzy as shit. Klutzy.
That was brutal.
Yep. All right, what do we got?
All right, like we we're talking about, Fabrizio's on the It's Called Soccer podcast, talking about the U20s and what's in the future for this group of U20s.
How long is this going to go?
1 minute.
Okay.
Cade Cowell, Diego Luna. I know Edelman's been linked. Is there any players within our U20 squad that you're hearing about in terms of potential links to moves abroad?
Many of them. I will keep an eye, especially more than about single players. It's about some clubs exploring the possibilities to sign players from the under 20 in the Eredivisie. There is a lot of interest from the Eredivisie in players of the under 20 in the United States because.
So basically, what he's saying is there's a lot of interest from the Dutch clubs at these U20 players. He's going to go on, but they see some talent there, and my guess would be is they're thinking that they could probably get him on the cheap in hopes to.
Bing, 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 bing. Correct. Yeah. That is the answer.
Not because they're lighting their clubs or the World Cup on fire, but because they see some talent. They think they can harness it, maybe, and get them on the cheap. That's what I think personally.
Do you see any Taylor Booths out there?
No,
because I didn't. I didn't see a single Taylor Booth. I didn't see a Reyna. I didn't see a Pulisic out there. I didn't see.
There are people on Twitter that are saying Luna is better than Reyna is now.
Well, they're fucking smoking crack. Luna has some moves, but it's hit or miss for him. Yeah, that's why he doesn't even play for Real Salt Lake.
It's funny because they made that people made that comment. There was at least one person. I don't know if it was a bunch of people or anything like that, but it definitely made its way through the Twitter sphere. But when that post came out, literally within 24 hours, Reyna came in on the last game. Who were they playing for the final game of Bundesliga?
Oh fuck! They lost Mainz.
No, they drew. Reyna had 2 assists. He came in the second half. He had 2 assists and almost a goal. So maybe it was Mainz. But it was funny because within 24 hours of saying that, Reyna comes in the second half and gets 2 assists and creates a bunch of other opportunities. Come on.
Yeah, Luna's playing for Dortmund anytime soon. Not. He's not playing for a 2 Bundesliga team anytime soon. He has different limitations as a player. And yes, does he make and do some amazing things? He does. But is he a consistent player? No, he's not. Is anyone talking about how maybe we should align Luna as an actual second striker behind Sullivan or Wolf centrally? That way Luna doesn't have to sprint back to the pivot to collect the ball. I mean, that would make sense to me, but I don't think it would have changed the game much, Nate.
Well, that would also require somebody to formulate a formation that's not just the standard 4-3-3 that we're playing as a whole. That would require a bit of change to have more of a 2-striker formation, or at least a 4-2-3-1 like we're seeing a little bit under Hudson. Rest in peace. But
I really don't know if that would have made that much difference, because outside of Luna, there was zero creativity on this team, and not one player could do it all by themselves. And so even if you put them in a more positive spot, I just don't think it makes enough difference, because nobody else is going to do anything but what they've been told to do. So with GGG coming back, Luna will play over Gio. Frank, thanks for the 199. No, I don't think that's going to happen, but we will get to Pulisic's comments concerning Gregg later. All right, let's finish this quote.
I always talk about with the possibility of Gregg coming back. It's bad for the U.S., but it's great for content.
It is good for content, because I will fucking lose my mind.
You were going to lose your mind if they announced Marsh, but what happens when they announce Berhalter instead?
I'm not going to lose my mind if they announce Marsh, because I expect it at this point.
Well, you lose your mind because of the trick or whatever, the circus behind it. The fact that they're like, well, we're still going to be interviewing with a bunch of other people. They had Marsh lined up the entire time. That's what.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. So I will lose my mind that U.S. Soccer once again played games, played tricks, They think they're mind fucking people, but they're not. They don't realize how fucking stupid they look. So if Betty Crocker's going to play the same games everybody else has been playing, and by the way, I've been telling Pete, his name is not Matt. It is Betty, and he got to get it right. Got to get it right.
Yeah, come on, man. This is what you and I, this is what we do. Mainly you, but this is what we do. You know, you come up with the names that are going to last an entire cycle.
Yes, Turd, Betty.
We have a listener who actually has a YouTube account with that name.
Betty Crocker?
No, the turd in the background.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
This person bounces back and forth between the main channel and this ad channel. So it's
well, we'll find out when and if Matt,
culture.
Just like Matt, Mike Cameraman found out his nickname was the Turd. We'll see how long it takes for Matt Crocker to find out his nickname is Betty.
I want somebody to make a small tifo. So it's just a sign if you have to. Just throw it up there. It says Betty Crocker, and then it's Betty Crocker making like a U.S. men's national team cake or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's got one recipe, though. That's all we know. All right, let's finish this fucker up.
They feel there is a lot of talent, but also the boys are so professional. I think what Ricardo Pepi created there by going on loan to Groningen is something really positive, because now the clubs are looking at players from that country. It's very interesting because the young players have the opportunity to actually play, to be part of the starting 11.
None of those players have dick squat on fucking Ricardo Pepi, and thinking that they do is a dream. Ricardo Pepi is far and away a better player than anybody on that team.
Pepi has opened the doors. Here's an American who came and played for arguably the worst team in the league, and got like 15 plus goals for them. In like a fraction of the season, like two thirds of the season or something like that. Was he? He wasn't there at the beginning, was he? Was he there at the beginning? Maybe it was a full season. Eventually it was a full season. But he's opening doors. I mean, one could argue that Josie could have opened said doors too, the same way. I mean, he played for a significantly better team. He scored a hell of a lot more goals.
Nah, I don't think that Ricardo Pepi's opening doors. I think it'd be nice to say Taylor Booth and Ricardo Pepi are opening eyes, and I think they are, for people to go over to the United States and recruit players, and I think that's fine. But I don't – listen, there are players – on this team that can play in Holland. I'm not denying that. They could play middle table to down. But none of them are going to play for Ajax, PS. Look, we got Mihailovic there. He's struggling to get any fucking playing time at all. You name a single player on that U20 team better than Mihailovic right now. Name one. You can't. Not in the front. So, I mean, it's not like you just go to Holland and become a star. It's not that easy. And Pepi is just a way better player than anybody we saw out there. And then there's a reason Paxton's at Frankfurt and getting minutes here and there. Aronson.
Yeah.
They're the best of the best. And Aronson's still a huge question mark, by the way. There is no guarantee he's going to work out at Frankfurt. It's too early to say. So we'll see.
Sure, but at least he's getting some playing time, though. I mean, I know it was late in the season and all, and they're pretty much sealed where they're at. Yeah, but it's promising, at least. We'll say that much.
Right.
But Derek, there are some U20s out there that are garnering interest.
Is this
here's
what
one
I
of
think
them?
it's going to be? Is this transfer news? Transfer news. Everybody loves their transfer news, but me. All right, the Daily Mail, not usually very reliable. Oh, of course it's not. Is claiming Manchester United, Dortmund, Rangers, Leipzig, and what? So we've gone all the way. So we start out with Man United and Dortmund, okay? Then we move to Rangers in Leipzig. Leipzig being a way better team than Rangers, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we're ending with are we serious?
Or
after Brian Girona?
Who's Girona? Who recognizes
my Girona.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's a very vast group. not that Brian Gutierrez isn't a good player, but if you think he's going to Man United to play for that team, you just got to be fucking have shit for brains.
But I mean, I'm biased, of course, and I'm going to try to take a little bit of my bias out of the equation here. He's having a hell of a fucking good season for Chicago right now.
Yeah, he's doing
good. And he's also a very creative player, and he's splitting those seams. I wouldn't be surprised if Dortmund looks at this as an opportunity to take another chance on another American creative player and see what happens.
You know what, though? You know where he goes straight away? Dortmund, too.
Sure, that could happen.
He ain't going to the first team. He's going to have to show at Dortmund, too, that he could be part of the big boy team. I think he's much more likely to go to Rangers and actually play. Actually play.
Sure.
So at Leipzig, I don't think that's a good move. I think that's really difficult. And I think Rangers is the only thing on here that looks like it makes, Girona, that's just out of the blue. I don't even understand that one. That's a weird thing to add to Leipzig, Rangers, Dortmund, and Man United. Girona. Okay.
Girona's going, I'm interested too.
We're over here. We're in the back. Hello. Is Chicago going to make the playoffs? Larry, for $2. No. That's my answer.
If history is any indication, no. But this is the year.
Oh, shut up, Brett. You know it's not. Don't even hold that.
It's got to be a year soon, Derek.
No, I'm sorry, Brett. Hey, listen, my team sucks too. I'm right there with you. All right.
Thanks, Larry, for the 2. No,
Galaxy are atrocious.
There is a chance. Because Chicago's playing well enough, and if they stop choking it at the end of the half and then the end of the game, it'd be one thing. But
that would be so not Chicago if they stopped doing that.
Yeah, my brother has this shtick where he always talks about how Chicago is. He always expects me to text him every week saying, "Man, Chicago drew today."
Great.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
It's unfortunate, really.
Is that it for transfer news? No, we got more. USA's U20 captain, New York Red Bulls midfielder Daniel. I don't get to play much for New York Red Bulls.
Or for the U20s.
Yeah. It's on the list of clubs in Belgium, Holland, and Israel. Oh, because he's Jewish. Okay, I see. Well, all right. Well, yeah. Tell me what team's in Belgium. Some second division team in Holland, maybe? I don't know. Dude, come on. Groningen's after Daniel Edelman. Fabrizio. I'm not buying it. I just watched this kid play in a U20 World Cup. He was far from a dominant player, far from making a difference in that game versus Uruguay. Just didn't make a difference. No one did. No one made a difference. And you got a bunch of kids that don't make a difference. There is no bright and shining star ready to make a next move from that U20 team. Just like you just watched it and you're like, yeah, there's a couple guys on this team. They're going to really blossom. There's no way to know that based on what we just watched. What we just watched was mediocre. It was ineffectual. It was ineffective. It was a loss to a team who on paper we matched up against really good. We watched a robot team, basically. Like, the passing patterns could have been more fucking predictable. I could tell you who everyone was going to pass to as soon as the ball dropped to their fucking feet. I could tell you who the next pass was going to go to. That's not going to work, man. You can't do that for a whole game.
Yeah.
You can't play like a bunch of fucking robots. Sometimes you got to do something different, something unexpected. Somebody's got to do something that no one saw coming, but no one did it. So we didn't score. We lost to our team we should have beat. In my opinion, you got one creative player, you got a few more creative players out there willing to take chances. You win the game. Now, one of the goals was bullshit. I get it, but still we would have lost even if that own goal didn't go in.
Yep.
We couldn't sniff the goal. So, all right.
All right, branching out of the U20s, let's go to the older people here.
All right.
The seniors. I sent this to you in a text, and I don't have it pulled up here, so I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to butcher the name, I'm sure. But Rami Ben Sabani from Gladbach.
Oh, yeah. The left back guy.
Yeah, Ben Sabani. Benny, I don't know. Fuck if I know.
I mean, if you put it up, I can read it.
Can you read it?
Put it closer.
Oh, can't go that close.
No,
Nope,
it's still blurry.
Not gonna catch it.
Yeah.
BNSEBAINI.
Yeah, I think you're close enough.
Yeah, so he left Gladbach on the free, went to Dortmund. Now, I feel like that benefits Scally at least. Left back option.
Doesn't hurt him. It's still, if you don't think you're going to add another back or two, I think they will. So we'll see what happens. But I think Scally's got a battle going into next season. I really do. I think it's going to be a battle to continue owning a spot in that back four. Mostly because he doesn't provide anything going forward. And so he needs to add that dimension to his game. And if he doesn't, they'll find somebody who can. But he'll always be good depth for them because he's reliable on defense. Always. Rami Bensabini, it
looks like
Bensabini.
It sounds Italian.
Bensabini.
It's Algerian, I think.
Yes.
Bensabini.
You could make it Italian.
You just throw your hands up there and all of a sudden it's Italian, right?
That Bensabini is one hell of a fucking spaghetti eater. All right. What else we got?
Oh. Zoom in a little more on this.
Hey, our friend Larry Henry Jr. Not only did Rangers have a $7 million bid rejected by Antalyaspor for Haji Wright, but La Liga side, Villarreal, 8.7 bid was also rejected. Wright definitely on the radar of many teams, but sounds like Antalyaspor wants at least $10 million to start. I mean, $10 million is a lot. That's a lot for a guy who scored a bunch of goals in a league that is deflated and not even close to as good as it used to be. But hey, if Villarreal want to spend that money, I mean, they could have chucked another mil in there and got him. That's close to 10 mil, right?
Yeah, but I feel like maybe their thought process for 10 mil.
I don't know. I just think that's
8.7. I thought was going to be high enough, but then Haji's team was like, "Nah, we want 10." I'm like, "At least, really?"
I think Haji will want to leave now. He got booed and all that shit, and he's going to want to get out of there.
Fuck that place.
Fuck being at a place where people boo you. Fuck that. Especially after all the goals he scored for them.
Yeah.
They can fuck it in Antalyaspor. Fuck a pooch. No, don't do that. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right, what else?
Well, let's see here. We can jump right into the BJ, or we could talk about Pulisic. What do you want to
You never really jump straight into a BJ. There's always some work that needs to happen prior.
I thought the 59 minutes prior to the BJ was fluff enough for you, Derek.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I think we're all hot and cocked and ready to go. All right, Samuel Lessoing. Hey, welcome back, Samuel. We haven't seen you for a while. $2. I have a really bad feeling about Nations League. I wonder why. It is BJ leading the team, and I don't think we should really worry too much because, as he said numerous times, it's not going to be that much different from Gregg or Hudson, right?
Well, there's a difference between Gregg and Hudson, though.
There is. If he continues the Hudson theme, I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah,
I think we are. But if he goes straight up Gregg, yeah, we could go back to completely like no freedom. You know, everybody's looks like they're playing constipated soccer. I don't want to see that either. But at the same time, I don't really have a necessarily bad feeling about it because I think we'll be okay. I really do, Samuel. I think we'll be fine. I'm not saying we're going to beat Mexico because I don't know. But I will say this is the worst Mexican national team in ages as far as the way it's been constructed up until this point. Now, if they do something very different and things change, okay. But I mean, this is Mexico. This ain't the Mexico of when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think you are right. They want to bring Gregg back, but Hudson just turned Nations League and Gold Cup turned
down, I'm assuming.
No, he has a job. It's been announced multiple times he has some job in the Middle East. Been said. BJ said it. BJ said it too. Congratulations to him for his new position in the Middle East. We don't know what it is. We have no clue what team it is. They told Hudson what the roster would be, and he said no thanks. Maybe. We'll never know that. BJ claims he and Hudson had been working on the roster together for a long time. So when Hudson left, it was just a natural flow for him because they talk so often. In fact, he said he talks more to Hudson and worked more with Hudson than he's ever spent time with his wife lately or his best friends. So why did Hudson quit with no job? He didn't quit. He had a job. And Nations League and Gold would not improve his stock. I don't know. From what I hear, he had a job offer and he took it. That's why he left. That's what U.S. Soccer's saying. That's what BJ's saying. I mean, unless they're all totally full of shit, which I wouldn't put out of any realm.
It could be true.
Any realm, a possibility that they are all full of shit. That would not shock me. And that's why you get, when we were talking about maybe Jesse's not going to get the job and, we got 29 calling me naive. Hey, man, how do you fucking know what's really going on? You got agents that you talk to, but honestly, can anybody predict the foolishness, the clownish behavior of this U.S. soccer setup? How clownish they are. We could seriously end up with Gregg again. It's possible.
Jesse Marsh rumor was just a smokescreen for Gregg to appear behind it.
Anything, it's like could be a smokescreen. We don't know the idiocy that's going to go on here yet. So I'm not willing to be all in on the Jesse Marsh thing is solidly 99.9% because these people are so full of shit. They're impossible to predict. You think you know until you're amazed by the next row of bullshit that comes up, right?
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh my God, they've done it. They've topped the last time they were full of shit. They're even more full of shit than normal. This is unbelievable.
Well,
this is a smokescreen for fucking Gregg to come back.
Well, and I'm sure we'll pull it up. I'm sure you have the timestamp for it, but when he talks about Brooks, it's just regurgitated bullshit.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's start with 1427. Him communicating with Gregg. Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
Try killing bugs the worry-free.
You twat.
Try killing bugs the worry-free way.
Yeah.
Who fucking worries about killing bugs? As long as they're dead. It's no big deal. Just kill them. I hope that thing works.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go. We got no sound.
I know. Hold on. You said 1427?
1427. Close enough.
And have really, really good preparation. In terms of communicating with Gregg, I can tell you that Gregg is somebody that I hold in high regard. We were obviously coaching colleagues, but we're also friends. So we talk a lot. He's somebody that I bounce ideas off of, but in no way would he ever step over the line of telling people to, who to pick.
Because Gregg's never stepped over the line.
Integrity to ever do that. But
it's total integrity.
Well,
everything about that guy's integrity.
Why would there be a line for Gregg to say, "Hey, don't pick that guy. He's not the coach right now." So is he saying Gregg's not the type of friend that would be sitting on the sideline and saying, "Oh, don't pick this guy. He's the worst." Well,
the worst thing about this is he doesn't really have to be slobbering on his he doesn't need to be cock slobbering Gregg at all here.
Yeah.
But he does it anyhow because he's like, well, Gregg's going to get a job in MLS at some point, and I'm going to need a job. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this dick as deep down my throat as possible and call him a man of integrity. He would never do anything like that. He's one of my best buddies. I love rubbing my balls against his balls. That's where we're at. It's just kind of gross, but I mean, he could have just said, no, I like Gregg and, we talk, but yeah, he didn't have any say in this, he didn't have to go out there and overtly praise him. But okay, if he wants to, I guess it's his prerogative. I just found it gross.
Chambers says, so there's interest in Gregg, but it looks like Swansea has moved on.
Do you think Swansea was really interested in Gregg? I'm sorry, Chambers, but no, they weren't. It's all fucking.
Swansea wants to stick to Swansea football, which is tiki-taka.
Yeah, that was never a thing for honestly, Chambers. That's why we call it transfer news, and in that case, it's called, what is it? Bullshit news. You
need to have like a bullshit alarm over your shoulder.
Yeah. Just a button I could push here.
Yeah.
Boop. That's bullshit. And that's it.
Just
that's all
read W. That was easy. But that's bullshit.
Bullshit.
Should actually
That's total horseshit.
Utilize some of our hard-earned fan money and buy a rewritable button.
Yeah, we need to buy one of those. I need to buy one, right? And you can like rewrite it and make it say anything, right?
We could just come up with some overlay that I could put on. I could just throw up and it'd be like a bunch of sirens that go bullshit.
Yeah. You couldn't be more full of shit if.
I feel like I need to figure out how to give you that privilege to push the button.
Push the button.
Yeah.
That was fucking bullshit. All right. What do we got? Oh, next one. 528.
1528?
Yeah, this is his bullshit about McKenzie.
I'll be completely honest with you, Jonathan. I had to call
He's
Mark
not. Okay, right there.
In.
You're going to have to start the sentence by saying, I have to be completely honest with you, John. Because he never tells us why McKenzie doesn't make the team, ever. So he's already fucking covering something up, hiding something. He's not going to tell us why, right? He's not going to tell us why. That's why you start with that comment. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and because I'm not going to tell you shit. That's what it is.
Is that what I do when I say in all honesty?
You don't say that anymore.
I know, but it was brought to my attention.
You've purged it.
God.
And to be honest with you, Brett, it's for the better. All right, let's go. What keep playing?
Let's be frank, okay? Yeah. I'm going to come up with a new one to.
Quit calling me Frank.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't call me Shirley.
I haven't said Shirley. All right.
Nations League roster. This is a guy that I've known since he was 12 years old. So it's a hard conversation to have with him.
I'm glad he said conversation.
Yeah. That was totally going the wrong way, guys.
Yeah.
I explained the reasons. I can tell you that he was understanding. He was professional. But at the same time, what I would expect is that he wasn't happy.
He was angry.
At the same time,
he made the jump abroad to Europe. He fought for a spot, and the first year or so was rocky. He's battling, play one game, take 2 games off. Play one game, take 2 games off.
And yet occasionally he's still being called up.
Yeah, and now he's a consistent starter. And hell, he had a hell of an end of the season.
Yes, goal.
It's just
not good enough. Not good enough.
I don't know.
But somehow, the guy that was good enough to play for Birmingham was good enough, even though they were awful this year. But I guess what he's saying is, here's Belgium's level. All right. Here's the championship level. Austin Trusty played at a higher level. Well, he could have said that.
Well, I mean, here's McKenzie level. Where's Miles and where's Zimmerman in the equivalency? I mean, because obviously we talk about MLS being right about there, but where's McKenzie's level compared to where their level is currently?
Yeah,
in said equal leagues. So
yeah, I guess I understand the conversation between him and McKenzie's private, so he's not going to give us a reason, but. I mean, he could give us a sort of reason, like, okay, we want to see him develop a little more in this specific area. And then, we'll get back to him. And I talked to him about that. And yeah, he was pissed as shit, but we're going to move on because he was pissed.
Well, it sounds like a common thread with Berhalter, and this guy likes to knob all over Berhalter. So maybe that's a common thread with him too.
So far, yeah.
Here's the thing: it's one of those things. Like, there's always going to be players that are pissed off, but when you're having a solid fucking season, and prior to that season you were wishy-washy, and you were still getting called in, is our center back options at this Nations League final significantly better than the previous Nations League final?
I just don't know.
I mean, we have very talented center backs now, most of which weren't included in this Nations League final.
Well, CCV because he's injured, Ream because he's injured, Brooks because he's hated universally by the whole coaching staff of the United States men's national team because he called all their moms bitches. I don't know. It's just I don't. We'll get to that, by the way. The next stop is 9-12, Flo versus Pepe.
9-12, huh?
Yeah, you got something on your phone?
19-12.
19-12, yes. A good year.
Second time, Derek.
It was a wonderful year, 1912. I know I was not alive yet. People are wondering.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I was coming off of a great season. Scored big goals for us already, and and it's going to be fun to watch these guys compete. And as professional athletes, and guys that want to make an impression on the U.S. men's national team, that's what you want. You want competition, and I expect this to be a great camp for both.
I think what he's basically was intimating through most of this was Pepe's going to start the first game. He's not throwing Flo out there right away.
I think so too.
And
we've had this debate. I mean, I think the entire fan base has had this debate. Everybody's saying, there's a healthy chunk of fans that are just saying, "Hey, we got Flo, throw him in there. He'll get his chances. He'll score goals."
Yeah,
or there's the other side of the argument. Pepe's firing on all cylinders too, but he's been with the national team for a couple of years here. He has some rapport with people, so
I can't think of a more meaningless debate. Honestly, Flo is going to play, folks, eventually. You don't need to jump straight for the clitoris. He'll play, all right? You'll get your jollies, but it's probably not going to be right off the bat because he's got to build some chemistry with his new teammates.
Yeah, as we indicated at the beginning of the show, sometimes you have to field some questions first before you jump to the clitoris, right?
Right. Sometimes there's a little bit of fondling that needs to go on before you jump straight to the clitoris, which you should never really do. The Titanic. Of course, everybody picks out the worst thing that happened in 1912. Oh, that's great. I love it. I love you guys. That's awesome. Yeah, that was a bad one. I mean, that's when we lost Jack, right?
I'll never let go, Jack.
Never let go.
There's the boat. I gotta go.
Oh boy, the movie was all right. That's pretty good. I was entertained once. I watched it. I
think the best part of the movie is when the boat split and then the guy from the top fell and then pegged like the motor. Pang,
oh yeah, water. I like that.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that was great.
Did Billy Zane die in that movie?
No,
he survived it because he kicked a bunch of women off the boat, right?
Me first, yeah.
Could they make a more evil character out of that dude in that movie? It's like, let's just make him the worst person that ever lived. And they accomplished it. Billy Zane.
This garbage trash over here is trying to pick up my woman, so I'm going to handcuff him to the thing as the ship is sinking. And then I'm going to kick some kids out of a boat and jump into it.
Billy Zane must not be that great of an actor because the best roles he does are one-dimensional. He's just a cocksucker, right? Oh, I fucking hate that cocksucker. That's the role he's the best at. So he must not be far from that in real life, right?
Sure.
Because he's really good at being a cocksucker.
Well, movies. I mean, you look at an actor like Sean Bean, who 99% of his roles are always villains. Sometimes you just get casted. You get pigeonholed into a
who's Sean Bean?
Yes, he's Boromir from Lord of the Rings. He's in he's in a ton of Clear and Present Danger. He's the bad guy. Guaranteed. I swear to God, who's Sean Bean? Are you serious?
I've watched Lord of the Rings. I just don't know the other thing you were referring to.
All right, hold on.
All right.
I have to do this. Not letting this go.
Wow, you're not. Oh yeah, him. Yeah,
He's
I know
also
he
in
is.
Game of Thrones.
He's not a bad guy in Game of Thrones.
Like I said, 99% of his roles.
Okay.
The bad guy, the bulk of his roles.
Okay. I think he's good as a good guy too. He can do both.
Sure.
Where Billy's saying,
I'm just saying, generally, actors tend to get pigeonholed into certain roles.
I get it, but at least he's had roles where he's been the hero.
True.
You know, not so for Billy Zane. I mean, not anything that's memorable. All right, let's go to the shape and evolution of the game model. Dogma versus flexibility, which is at 210. And while you're at it, get yourself a refreshing Fiji drink.
New sponsors of the Straight Red Card.
Fiji.
We're waiting for that paycheck, Fiji.
Fiji water, Earth's
Actually, let's
finest
not get
water.
sued. It's pronounced Fiji.
100% no urine in Fiji water.
We'll come back to it.
All right.
All right, what was the timestamp?
210. Even flow. All right.
210.
2010.
2010, okay.
2010.
Now, you and your timestamps.
This is basically him saying, hey, you know, there's dogma, but there's not dogma, right? More fucking commercials? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we gotta pay for that YouTube shit.
All
All
right.
right, here we go.
It's an interesting question because, and I'm not sure if you're alluding to it, but I don't really identify like shapes that we play on the field as our style of play. We have well-defined principles that we all know, and our principles are what drives our behaviors. So regardless for me of, you know, if we pick a shape, you know, 4-3-3 shape, a 4-2-3-1 shape, a 5-2-3 shape, those are more match plans that I think are to, you know, put our players in the best opportunity to compete in that game. But for me, about integrating.
Have we played a 5-2-3?
No.
Okay, he said that. I was like, 5-2-3.
No. He means a 3-4-3, actually, probably.
Yeah,
but
probably.
you know, this gets worrisome because now he's saying, yeah, it doesn't really matter the formation because it's about the principles. And the principles are so obvious. It's like the way we play triangle passes, the way we triangulate is like the most basic standard way of triangulating, number one. And so there's nothing surprising or shocking usually about what we do because it is so standard ABC triangulation. I don't really understand, like he's talking about the principles drive all our behavior, but the problem is the basic principles are so conceived in such a predictable manner that it's what makes the play look constipated. Like nobody can go outside of that triangulation or in an overload situation, a quad. It's just so, there's just no fucking creativity going on there. And I think it's the principles that need to be loosened up. The basic principles. Maybe guys have an idea of their own that will fake out the team because the team they're playing against is so used to the standard basic triangle play that we do. If you do something out of the ordinary, it might shock them. They may go to a certain section of the field that they think, oh, well, yeah, they triangle, so we'll do this. Or they always pass it back from the winger back to the fucking center back. The center back gets to a sitting CM who tries to pass it to a more forward CM who tries to get it out wide. Listen, it's so fucking predictable. If we just did something different on occasion, just something crazy, just don't do what's normal. Try something new. And I think, you know, having those kind of like hardcore dogmatic principles just kills creativity. I know we got to know the basics, right? You got to know the basics, but I want to encourage guys to do something different and creative. Think outside of the box a little. So what he's saying is it doesn't really matter what formation we play. We're playing the same little, fucking tiki-taka triangle ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Gary says BJ can't come in and change everything. We'll just follow Hudson's footsteps and change formations.
Yeah. I do think that Hudson did allow for more freedom. So I hope that is.
We heard that from Pepe alone. Pepe said to the first window,
Yes.
He's like, come in and he gives you the freedom to play. And we saw more activity at our 9 under Hudson. We also had an actual 10 playing under Hudson.
Yes.
It's a little bit different. We didn't play the same style we played. A lot of the motions were the same, but we had different personnel and different locations. So
what we heard from Hudson was different too. Basically, he said, "Listen, I do want us to maintain some of these the bottom line principles, but I also want to allow guys to express themselves more." And I hope that's what we get from good old Blowjob here as well.
All right, next.
And next one is Brooks, 30-50. Get ready for a load of shit if you haven't seen this yet.
Your bug spray should take out
bugs. There it is. There's a load of shit.
I might invest in it now. I'm tired of this.
Are you?
For the no ads.
Yeah, let's just do it, dude. Let's just do it.
When we're going on our rant, Derek, you should tell me the next timestamp. I go to it, and while you're ranting, I'm waiting through this fucking ad. There we go.
There's nothing wrong with a bug commercial, though. All right, let's do it.
Quite another question about an omission. John Brooks, a player, was really struggling for playing time at Benfica. He's back in the Bundesliga. He's started almost every game this spring. Is he a player that's in consideration still, or
look at his
consideration
face
for the Gold Cup?
That face just screams no.
Regardless of what he says, and I know what he says, but regardless of what he says, the person asking the question should have an immediate follow-up question ready.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
That's all you gotta ask. Why?
Why? What does he need to do? Yeah.
What's going on with him?
Yeah, good question.
Good question.
John is a guy who's got a long history with the men's national team. He's someone that we consistently are monitoring.
Fucking in the ass.
As if he continues to have good club performances,
we're still gonna fuck him in the ass.
And he's always under consideration. He's somebody that we
to be fucked in the ass
are looking at, and so I would say, as long as he continues to put in good performances, we will continue
to fuck him in the ass
for the men's national team.
Yeah, exactly.
So we mentioned earlier that Berhalter's not on the sideline saying don't pick this player, don't pick that player, but that was a very Berhalter-esque.
My God, it was. That was all Berhalter. That answer, total fucking Berhalter. Listen, and if you're right, he has a follow-up question. Well, he's just helped Hoffenheim stay out of relegation. Yeah. He was the leading defender on the team. He played center back in a back three. He led the back line. He played extremely well at the end of the season. What else does he need to do? Does he need to suck his own cock on the fucking field to get noticed and get, instead of just consideration and actual get picked? I mean, I don't know what he needs to do.
Well, I'm not saying that he didn't have his faults throughout the season. He had fuck ups here and there. But name a center back. Name a center back who hasn't had fuck ups. I mean,
Eric Palmer Brown. No, I'm just kidding. He had a horrible season.
Certainly won't have any fuck ups in League
now League Two. Yes.
Maybe Richards in his limited time with Palace. I don't know if he had too many fuck ups in there.
Not really.
But I don't know if you've seen the clip. Zimmerman had a massive fuck up this past weekend. Holy shit. That was brutal. Thank goodness for Nashville that Ferreira had.
Yeah.
That was like 2 fuck ups in a row.
I don't like this answer. One bit, BJ. Not one bit. Because it stinks of shit and it is shit. This isn't just like, oh, well, this smells fucking bad. No, this is just because there's a load of shit right in front of his face. Just below his chin, about 3 inches below his chin, off screen. is a big pile of fucking bullshit.
So what if he came out and said, hey, he went almost an entire year without really playing. He's finally back into the groove of things. We're planning on bringing him in the Gold Cup, but this is Nations League Finals. We want to make sure we have our core group that we've been relying on for the past X amount of years. I mean, would that be a better answer?
It would have been a better answer, but it would still been full of shit. Because there's obviously something that happened, and we all know what happened. Those of us who heard the stories know what happened. In fact, when we had Meg on, she practically almost said it but couldn't. Something when was it versus Canada or Honduras when he was ripped off at halftime.
Yeah,
he lost his shit in the locker room. He was fucking infuriated that he was being pulled off and basically blamed for that error, for that mistake. Which, I mean, yeah, he wasn't the only one though.
Yeah.
Yet no one covered his ass because he went to stop the attack before it started, and there was no one behind him to cover him. Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, I can understand why he lost his shit in the locker room. I understand that a lot of the players around him didn't like being yelled at him, particularly whoever he was. Was it Zimmerman he was playing next to? I can't even remember.
I don't even remember, yeah.
But he yelled at a lot of fuckers. And you go back and rewatch it. He yelled at everybody on the back.
It's
the back
probably
line.
fair to say it was probably Miles, because it was after the Gold Cup.
Might have been Miles.
Miles started almost every single game except for when he got injured.
Could have been Miles then. But whatever it was, I know that he yelled at a lot of the players. We know that he lost his shit in the locker room when he was yanked at halftime. And yeah, that doesn't bode well, I guess, going forward. But all right, so a guy has a bad moment and loses his shit.
In a lot of mixed
and he yells at Sands and he yells at Miles. We saw it all. I just couldn't remember who the players were, but we saw him be very animated and yell at guys that whole game. Actually, he was yelling at motherfuckers. So
was it McKenzie and Miles, or was it just McKenzie? We're playing a back three, I guess. It was Miles McKenzie, I guess. It was, yeah. It was McKenzie and Miles. Here, and then Sands was his center defensive midfielder. It was some fucked up formation. I don't know why Berhalter, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but why Berhalter decided when he wanted to gamble and experiment, he always experimented on the road. Was he always going into these games going like, we're going to lose. It's on the road. Why don't we fuck around and find out?
Yeah. But, I mean, it's really, and they won't say it, because those people, those journalists that we know who traveled with the team have all said there was a problem. I can't remember what Shredder told us, but it was something like Brooks has always had contentious relationships with his coaches because he doesn't like to be benched for any reason. He wants to play the fucking game. If he gets benched, he gets upset. He's not a team player in that respect. He does not like to sit. And if you sit him, he's going to be pissed at you. It looks like Matarazzo's worked out a way to work with Brooks and his ego, right? And I guess Brooks isn't allowed to have an ego, right? It's all about the team and in the collective. And by the word, he used that word here on this interview, did BJ, the collective. And then he used another Gregg word, the journey to 2026. Fuck you and your journey, dude. This ain't a journey. It's a step-by-step process. You can call it a journey if you want, but it's not like we're getting in a sailing boat and trying to find the new world here. We know what the goal is. We know what the end goal is. A journey is something you take where you don't know what the goal is and what you're going to find. That's a fucking journey. I don't know what this is. This is more like, hey, we need a plan for something that has an ultimate end that is seeable and knowable. A journey's a different thing. I guess nowadays they're calling a journey's anything. A trip to my bathroom for a shit and a piss is a journey, I guess.
It's an amazing journey, too.
It's an amazing journey, yes. So, I don't know. But it's that fluffy language. I fucking hate that fluffy-ass language. Just talk like a normal person. You know, like we have some goals, and we want to hit the goals, and we know what the goals are for the World Cup. We want to be ultra competitive, and that's where everything we're going to do is going to be towards that fucking aim. It's going to be a hell of a journey. Whatever, dude. Shut up. Stop talking about. Stop using gibberish. Journey. All right. And listen, I understand that this is not a team of individuals, and nobody wants a team of individuals either. Yeah, it should be a collective, but there's also an understanding of who are the most impactful players, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that Pulisic doesn't get extra Skittles in his ball? I'm sure he does. Sure he does.
Only green though.
You think that Pulisic gets to yell at Gregg more than anybody else? Yes, he did. And he did yell at Gregg more than anybody else. But nicer than John Brooks, who basically told him to go fucking suck a twat. All right? Chris Gary, $4.99. Thank you, Chris. You know we love you, brother. Realistically, if offered the job, does Matarazzo leave Hoffenheim? No, he's not coming, dude. For the now.
In the future, he says. In the future, maybe.
If not, I guess assuming it's an American being realistic, it's JM. Yeah, it's. I don't know what to think because it sounds like with Pulisic's little move today, his little fucking media move, that he wants to warm up Berhalter's giblets in this conversation.
Do we have any more timestamps on this?
No, that was it. I wanted to end on the one thing that made me want to vomit.
Yeah. All right. I guess before we get to Pulisic's comment here, I wanted to cover one thing real quick, and that was BJ's coaching staff.
Jason Christ, superstar, failing up like he always does, got fired from his job at Miami.
It's fascinating. Outside of his Real Salt Lake tenure,
he's been atrocious.
Has he done anything? Has he done anything to warrant an assistant coach at USSF?
You know, it's that one kid in high school who hit the game-winning 3 his freshman year and was awful for his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons, and none of the chicks wanted to fuck him. That's who Jason Christ is right now. But in this case, since we're in a fucking U.S. soccer bubble where everybody fucks each other, it's a fucking orgy of, like, you know, all the guys who know each other. Jason Christ gets another fucking job with BJ Callaham. Who the fuck knew, man?
Yeah.
You get another job. Failing up. Wow. Jason Christ should have retired. He should be the ball boy for this club.
Go work at a U.S. sub club, you know, do something else.
And, you know, the interesting thing at Inter Miami, they fire the head coach and they fire Jason Christ. One of the assistants. They don't fire any other assistant. They just fire the head coach, and they are assuming that he's so bad because he's getting all of his advice from Jason Christ. So they're like, you're fired too, bitch. You're out of here. I mean, yeah, Jason Christ is a sad story. I don't mean anything horrible upon him. I hope he turns it around.
I think with the youth national teams, there were just too many disappointments. And that's the bad taste in everybody's mouth. Also could be from BJ, too.
Bad taste in BJ's. Apparently, it was not a bad taste for BJ because he was all up on Jason's nuts. You know, his chin hit his nutsack. You're on my staff, buddy. When he said staff, he's like, BJ's like, you're on my staff.
Get
on over here, Jason Christ. You want to be on this you want to be an assistant coach here or be on my staff? You know what I mean? Regalio Zavala Cabrera at $2. Thank you, brother. You are always here, and we appreciate that. Did Brooks throw a chair at Gregg? That is not what I heard. I did hear that he called Gregg a few names.
It's going around the Twitter sphere, so I don't know if it's true or not.
It wouldn't shock me if he threw a chair. I don't think he threw it at Gregg. I have not heard at Gregg. I've heard he threw some shit. I didn't know it was a chair.
I feel like if you threw a chair at Gregg, then there would be no reason whatsoever to assume that you would ever get called back up by Gregg, and you would never make that move to Benfica outside of just getting money. But
no, I heard he threw some stuff, but not a chair. I thought he threw his boots when he was benched. He took his boots off and threw it. Well, I shouldn't even say what I've heard because then eventually somebody might be able to zero in on how I'm finding out this shit. But anyhow, I mean, it was not good. Let's just say that halftime at Honduras was a changing moment. And that's why Meg was so coy about talking about the interactions between Gregg and Brooks, because she went on that whole cycle of games. She was there with the team. She was on the buses, on the planes, blah, blah, blah. And she noticed the interactions. She was very gentle about how she related that to us. And then, man, Brian kind of intimated some things too to us when he was on live with us. Shredder did. And then you start adding up the pieces. Then you start hearing some of the stories behind the scene. You're like, God damn. Like he's getting blackballed for that, the way he just acted. Because Gregg does not like any dissent to begin with. And if you do have some minor dissent, you better wear a shirt with his fucking picture on it. The day after. Yeah. It's Meg. We all know. And no, Briscoe. We had Meg on the show. And she said,
her and Brian publicly stated, publicly stated some stuff.
Yes.
But obviously not all stuff.
On our show. But listen, they're not the only two journalists we know. We've been around a long time. There are a lot of things that people out there are not going to publish or tell you that sometimes they tell us, and they don't want their names used. And that's okay. We're cool with that. Maybe they just don't want to be associated with us, but
what's not to love about us?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we've known a lot of people. Stephen Goff's been on this show. I'm not going to go on the list. We've had a lot of motherfuckers on this show over the years. And yeah, we still keep in touch with a lot of them, or at least I do. I don't think Brett does, but I do. And you were never a writer, though, Brett. So that's kind of different. So you were never a journalist.
Wrote a couple of articles for One Love Soccer.
One Love Soccer, the most short-lived soccer website ever. What did that last?
By Fafa Pakal, yeah.
A couple months, spurned by Fafa Pakal for an interview. What a dick. All right.
Probably not a dick. He's busy over in Italy playing or practicing playing.
Had he got on the plane? I don't think he had got on the plane yet to go to Italy when he spurned you.
No, absolutely was. Yeah, he's started his career in Italy.
I thought he was still in the U.S. at the time, but maybe I'm wrong.
No,
we were supposed to have him on the show too.
For what club? No.
Think about it. Fafa McCall was 18 years old then.
Okay.
We're old, Brett. Fafa McCall's like 28 now.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So I'm sure it's gonna be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little cocksucker back then. He's not. He's a better guy now. I'm sure he's perfectly fine then too. Maybe our email communication got caught up in his spam filter. Who knows? It didn't. He just totally ignored us after telling us he'd come on the show. All right. Anyhow, that's a story for another day. All right. Fafa, no hurt on our end. That was many years ago. All right. What's this
Fafa's
shit?
This is gonna get clipped, and Fafa's gonna watch it. Like, oh man, he goes back through his emails and tries to find it.
No, he won't, because it's been a decade, dude.
I don't even have that email anymore, guys.
Yeah, we won't. All right, is this when Pulisic says all this kind of juicy shit about fucking Gregg Berhalter?
Si, hombre. Si.
Okay. Yeah, play it. Spiel.
I think he is still considered. I think he should be considered. I think he did a great job with the team. He brought us a long way.
Matt shrugged his shoulders like, yeah, whatever. He's laughing.
I think he is still considered.
13 seconds,
considered. I think he did a great job with the team. He brought us a long way. I think a lot of people and a lot of guys in the team, especially, would agree with that.
Okay, Brett, that body language from Matt Turner. Number one, first of all, it's like this is hilarious because he's gonna have to say something nice about Gregg. That's why he's smiling. Number two, when he says something nice about Gregg, what does Turner do? He shrugs it off like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Was it really good? I mean, he basically this with a smile was basically him saying, did he do really good stuff?
This is an actual nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. This comment is a nothing burger. Is zero. Pulisic's just being nice. Period. With no motive. He's just being nice because he's a nice guy. That is it. Yes, exactly, Chris. Turn to thinking straight up fucking virgin. Yes. Yes. This is nothing. It's complete nothing burger. It means nothing. Nothing that he said there. Look at he's chuckling through what he's saying anyhow. He's got a smile on his face. This is not a guy who's trying to make a case for Gregg Berhalter. He's smiling and trying to be nice. That's all.
Well, like
That's
I
all this
mentioned,
is.
like I mentioned earlier, when Pete had the video out for it, I literally thought he was catching that a month and a half old interview.
No,
a really strange Hunger Games type of interview that was occurring.
That was weird.
Tell us what you think of Berhalter. He's a good
let
guy.
me tell you.
I hope he comes back. And,
First, let me tell you what I think about Berhalter and how wonderful he is. And then I
don't
want
you agree?
And then I want you to agree with me in this interview.
He was Irish or Scottish or something like that.
Yeah, so I got a bad Irish accent. Top of the morning to you, Christian. First, I'm going to tell you how much we love Gregg Berhalter, and then after
I hear the German in your voice trying to come out.
And after I want you to totally agree with me, and then go on and say some more great things about Gregg. That's how that interview went, and that's exactly what it went. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Pulisic's just eking through this and trying to be nice. That is why Matt Turner is laughing his ass off. You can see it in his eyeballs because he knows what Pulisic's going to say because Pulisic's nice. And he's like, well, let's see what he comes up with this time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it was just a regurgitation of what he said in that interview. And it's just the same thing over and over again. It's, he did good for us. And he should still be considered. Sure, why not?
And he's not. So there you go. He is snot, as in SNOT, what I just did there. All right. This is a joke, right? Matt's laughing. If he could, he would be laughing out loud, but he can't. He's a Wasserman agency guy. Yeah. He doesn't want Gregg back because he kept getting picked. Stefan kept getting picked over him time and time again. I don't think he was that happy with Gregg. Now, eventually became Gregg's guy. But even after it seemed like he had totally earned being Gregg's guy, Stefan was picked over him a couple times, right? So he's no fan of, we've heard it through the Wasserman agency. Almost none of those guys are fans of Gregg. And if we replay this one more time, I don't want you to so much look at Pulisic. Look at Matt the whole time. And that is the serious level, the level of seriousness you need to take this commentary with.
Look,
here we go.
Matt's already looking into the camera because I had the question asked, what do you think about Berhalter coming back? And he's looking at the camera going, save me. Get me out of here.
What he's saying is, I'm glad I don't have to answer this fucking horse shit question. He's already laughing.
If there was an ad for a 13-second video, USSF can fuck right off.
Yeah. All right, one more time.
Just hold on real quick. I had this pulled up. I don't want to lose it.
Samuel Lessoing, thank you for the $5, my friend. Derek just bought parts for a BS transfer news alarm for you. Stay posted. I'll ship to you when I get it all assembled and everything. He just got parts for a transfer news alarm. I want one.
He's going to sit there soldering it all together. You know.
Yeah. Transfer news. Can you make it do that, man? That would be awesome. All right.
Pay attention.
Watch Matt. Only Matt here. Matt knows how goofy this question is. Yes.
I think he is still considered. I think he should be considered.
Shrug. Right now.
Did a great job with the team.
Shrug.
Brought us a long way.
He did a great job with the team. Shrug.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Whatever.
I think he is still considered. I think he should be considered. I think he did a great job with the team. He brought us a long way.
I guess we're going with that narrative right now, right?
You would agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I mean, I can't believe people went wild with this today. This is such a gigantic fucking nothing. This is so nothing. If you watch this in context and you don't read it on Twitter, you read it on Twitter, you're like, oh, that's really serious. No, it's not. It's not serious at all. Look at, he's got his smirk face in while he's talking about it. Pulisic's wearing a smirk face. Turner's holding back outright laughter. Okay? Outright laughter. He wants to laugh, and he can't because this is serious talk about Gregg Berhalter. You know? All right.
Yeah. I mean,
Brett, do you disagree?
No, I don't. I think Pulisic is tired of answering this question.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just saying the spiel he's got down. He practices in front of the mirror twice every morning and before he goes to bed.
I doubt that. Come on now. I mean, of course, he's already said it. He's just, like you said, repeating himself. This is so nothing. He is not encouraging Gregg to come back. He's not endorsing Gregg. He's just being who he is, a nice kid. And that's what he is. He's a nice kid. Any guy who's yet to fucking penetrate the box is going to be a nice kid. He is sticking to his principles. He's not going to have sex until he's married. And there is nothing wrong with that if that's what he believes, right? And this is what he is. He's a principled, religious, nice guy. I think he's a Catholic. I believe he's a Catholic. But he lives by life standards. And if you don't have something good to say about somebody, you don't say anything at all. And in this case, he said the bare minimum. Gregg did good. Should he be considered? Sure. Why not? Did he say he not only should he be considered, he should be number one for the job because he fucking blew my nuts off while he was the coach for the U.S. men's national team. And I think without him, we would have been a big pile of fucking shit on the side of a road.
It would be more telling if he was sitting there going like, man, look, everywhere Jesse's gone has been shit outside of Salzburg. You know, we don't need some rando from some place coming in here trying to muck things up. You know, Berhalter's the best. Then you get to consider. But it's just like, yeah, he should be considered. Why not? I mean, he did his job. He got this trophy, got that trophy, got to the quarterfinals. He's doing okay.
He said he should be considered.
Yeah. USSF should be keeping tabs on Berhalter, keeping eyes on him, right?
It's like
they're expressing interest, right?
I've had people that work for me, right? And they try to use me as, like you did, Brett, as a one of the people on their resume for them to call a reference. Sorry.
Yeah.
And some of them don't ask me. Like you asked me, I'm like, yeah, I'll be a reference for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some don't ask, and they just put me down. And some motherfuckers call me, and they're like, yeah, I mean, if you had to hire him again, would you? I'd be like, well, I consider it.
You had a hot girlfriend. So.
I'd consider it, maybe. If he matured. If he was going to do a better job than he did the last time he worked for me, yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Considering somebody is like, that's like, this girl approaches you for the prom because she doesn't have a date, and she said, hey, would you consider going to the prom with me? And you're like, yeah, I'd consider it. I think you should be considered. Sure. I'm not saying yes. I'll consider it. Job for $2. Sounds like a character in Star Wars. Job Dob. He went over the hill.
I think he was in the pub or the cantina.
Yeah, he was playing the sax. All right, he's the lead clarinetist for the those freaks at the bar in Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
those guys that look like they got big brains. All right, thank you for the $2. Pulley still shouldn't have said that. Got to move on. I don't think that he said anything that big. I don't think he said anything, really.
I mean, outside of saying when the question comes up, hey, do you think Berhalter should be considered for the job? And him saying, it's not real. I'm not the one that's making the decision. You should ask somebody in the USSF that question.
I mean, you want him to answer it 29 style? He answers the question and he's like, nah, fuck that. What's he supposed to say?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, Derek. What's he supposed to say? Because that's basically what Michelle was saying. People criticizing. Go ahead.
Michelle Giannone. I like to saying the last name. Michelle Giannone. To all the people criticizing Pulisic, please tell me what the fuck, I'll finish the word for you, is he supposed to say publicly? Exactly. What is he supposed to say? I think he is still considered. Do you understand how underwhelming the word considered is? I have 10 candidates for this job, and you're being considered. Seriously, it is the most limp dick thing you can say. If he was a strong candidate, you wouldn't say considered. You'd say, he's one of my top candidates. That's not even what fucking Pulisic said. He just said, yeah if you're going to consider some motherfuckers, he should be considered.
I think at this point, Pulisic has a rehearsed thought process, at least not necessarily word for word speech, but like a thought process of what he needs to say, just to move it along. I don't think his words are going to convince anybody in USSF that Berhalter should or should not be. Now, if he were to say, like, I'm not playing for this team unless Berhalter's the coach, maybe, but he's just saying, yeah, he should be considered.
Let me ask you this. If that were a serious question that the team still took seriously, do you think Matt Turner is laughing his guts out inside and trying to hold it in like he did? If that was a serious thing, and Matt Turner knew that Pulisic was really serious about getting Berhalter back, you think he's smiling and chuckling outwardly and then shrugging off, well, he did good? No way do you have body reactions like that about somebody that you think you really want back. Yeah. No. I mean, seriously, you would never do that. Not sitting next to Pulisic. So obviously they've had a conversation about it. And that's why he's smiling, because he knows he's got to answer this fucking question in the most diplomatic possible.
So, Jab, I will agree with you the fact that we got to move on. And I think the question should have been, Pulley shouldn't have been asked that. We got to move on. I think that's how it should have been.
The press needs to fucking move on.
Yeah.
We're still asking about Gregg fucking Berhalter? Seriously?
I mean,
come on.
Stop asking the players this question, because you're just going to get a politically correct,
standardized
question.
Yes.
Answer me.
Yep.
It is literally them just going to be like, yeah, he did a good job. He should be considered. Why not? I mean, even if you ask Gio this, what do you think Gio's going to say? You know, we had our back and forth, and there's a whole drama there. But should he be considered? I mean, he did an okay job.
I mean, seriously, think about it, Brett.
I don't think you'd answer that at all, but
some chick comes up to you and says, "Hey, you want to fuck?" And instead of saying yes, you go, "I consider it." What does that mean? That means you'd consider it, but you're not raving about yes. Otherwise, you'd be like, "Yeah, let's go fuck right now."
Well, what if it was like let me consider it. Fuck yeah.
Well, then you're just joshing her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you're serious about it, you're like, take my hand, baby. You show me the way. Where's the room? Where's the nearest bed? Where's the nearest fuck it? I don't even need a bed. Where's the nearest lay of land with grass on it? Let's do this now. But I consider it. I would say most girls would be like, you consider it? What? Fuck off, bitch. I'm out of here. You go fucking slap that dick around your own hand. Fuck that. You consider that. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Thinking you're so good, you just got to consider me. When I came straight up to you and said, let's fuck, and you're like, I'll consider it. Fuck you when you consider it. So don't tell me considering shit is like this big fucking thing, because it ain't. All right. Frank Kassler, 199. I like Gregg. My job isn't to pick the coach. Yeah, that's a simple answer, Frank. But at this point, they weren't asking him really about picking the coach. They're just kind of saying, hey, should Gregg still be considered for the job? What's he saying? I like Gregg. My job isn't to pick the coach. You could say that, but I mean, he's already said so much, so go ahead and just say you'd consider fucking him. All right? You consider fucking him, but really, if I had my preference, I'd rather like that chick over there. Not so hot on Gregg, but I'd consider it, if I didn't have anybody else to pick from. Or I had a host of people that didn't really tickle my twat. Not saying that Pulisic has a twat. That's not what I'm saying. But anyhow, you get the point. Mm-hmm. Jesse Marsh in frame for Celtic job. Oh, fuck this shit. I'm so done with this shit. And now the men in blazers are doing this. When are they going to figure out? Sky Sports doesn't know fucking cock doodle about what's really going on. We got Monaco, laughable. We've got the Rangers job, laughable. We got the Celtic job, laughable. None of these jobs are going to Jesse Marsh. No way, not happening.
Brendan Rodgers is also an option.
Much more believable. He's been in Scotland before. Yeah. And it's successful, too, when he was there. Why is Jesse's agent pushing all of these rumors down our fucking throats? Why? Monaco.
So there was
Celtic.
There was talk. People brought up the fact that he's still kind of milking the Leeds contract and getting as much money from them as possible. And it ends, say, in the summer, which is why USSF is saying, we're not going to hire a coach until the summer. So until that point, you start having your manager or your agent start throwing out all these fake rumors. It's like, oh, this and that and this and that, just to keep it churning. So it looks like he may not necessarily be taking that job with the USSF. So maybe negotiations are still underway.
I like how you cycle back to churning after starting out with milking.
Yep.
But it all turns out it's all a shell game. It's all bullshit. It's like, hey, yeah, I tried to milk that cow in the fucking field. Well, that wasn't a cow, motherfucker. That was a bull.
We don't have any cows. We have a bull. That was a Kingpin reference. I'm not sure if you were doing that on purpose.
No wonder I wasn't getting any milk.
Well, have you ever seen Kingpin?
Yes.
And so, yeah, he is in fact drinking the milk of the bull.
Hey, I didn't get any milk out of that cow, but whatever this is this edible?
High in protein. Hey.
All right. I can't believe Men in Blazers put that up.
Well, maybe a specific agent reached out to them and said, "Hey, this might be going down."
You know what, Brett? We had English accents. We would have been Men in Blazers before Men in Blazers.
Yeah, that was a Berlin quote for the longest time.
I know. We just don't have.
Before there were Men in Blazers.
If we had English accents, our show would be at least 4 times as much popular than it is. I'm pretty sure.
We'd have a lot more drier humor too, because we'd be British.
No, we have the exact same humor, exact same sense of humor.
Do many Brits have the same type of humor as we do?
That's a good question.
Same payoffs and the forwardness with it all.
We would be oddballs in England for sure.
But that could work in our advantage, though. You know, like maybe we need to practice our English accents, right?
I know I can't. I do it on occasion, not practice, but use one here. But I did some Irish accents earlier. I just think I wouldn't want to listen to anybody pretending to have an English accent. I had a girlfriend named Karen Weinberg in college. And she was an acting major, and she used to say, "Can I practice my English accent on you?" And she'd go for like 30 seconds. I'm like, I cannot deal. I'm like, I am done. I don't want to hear any more of this. I can't stand you doing an English accent. So please stop. Anyhow, yeah, she's the one who turned out to be a lesbian.
Oh, sweet.
It wasn't my fault, I promise.
Did you at least get a little 3-way action in there somewhere as she was transitioning into it? Or accepting it?
Not during the transition. But even after Heather came back and we got back together on occasion, Karen and I were still friends with benefits. But there was something very odd and off about the way she kissed. It was very much like she was kissing using a script from a movie. Like it was an act. It wasn't like, and then I think the whole fucking thing was just like what she was supposed to do. And I don't know. It was weird, dude. I don't want to get too much into it. I think she's still an actress in Chicago somewhere. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Anyhow, don't look her up. She's a wonderful woman. Anymore. She found herself. Let her be. Don't.
I already forgot her name.
Good.
All right.
Yeah, but people can watch this back. God damn it. I'm such a fucking idiot.
Don't give them ideas, Derek.
It's not the first time I've used someone's full name on here. in it. I'm always
you
like,
use your
oh
high
God,
school, use
oh
your high
God.
school soccer team players' names like
Yeah, but
every show.
Brett, I didn't fuck any of them. Jesus Christ.
Joey Balls over there used to run around talking about how his balls tripped him up in the middle of the game because they dropped it down by his ankles.
No, that's the guitarist in my band.
My bad, Derek. My bad.
That's Kenny Childers with the long balls. He used to brag about how he could stick them in his ass if he wanted to. And I said, do you want to?
Right.
Yeah. He said, no, I haven't really had that urge, but I could definitely do it if I had to. And I don't know any circumstance where you would ever have to do that. Like I'm going to hide my nutsack in my asshole. Why? For what reason? There is no reason you would ever have to do that.
Maybe he's going undercover for the FBI. He has to be a girl.
Well, I think he'd still need to get rid of his package, the rest of the package.
Maybe he can wrap it. I'm not going to go with that.
But this is the same guy who once said, I got a tiny dick, but I got a very long pair of balls. That was his thing.
I'm not sure that makes up either, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But, he had a good sense of humor.
Lisa, how'd you get that black eye? I don't want to talk about it.
I assume he was kidding because I never saw either his balls or his dick. So it was just a joke, an ongoing joke. All right, anything else tonight?
Yeah, let's just go down the tweets real quick.
All right, what would be your preferred 11 for the Mexican game? Well, we're supposed to do that next show.
You want to do that next show?
Yeah,
all right, Chris, we're going to hold off on this. He does say his is going to be Turner, Dest, Richards, Miles, Anthony. Let's go Jedi. Come on, let's not Anthony. Musa, Cardosa, McKinney, Reyna, Pulisic, and Pepe.
It's not a bad lineup.
Could work.
Not bad. But yeah, I don't want to ruin the next show.
Although that means unless McKinney's playing out wide, that means Reyna would be out wide, not playing the 10. Because you'd have a Johnny Soccer, Moose, and McKinney trio almost, or the double pivot and then one.
Well, yeah, that's possible. I guess it'll be interesting to see because you could play Reyna as a second striker too, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it'll all depend how they line up.
Here's Collins 11.
Turner, Dest, Robinson, Trusty. The other Robinson,
Jedi.
Richards. Whoa, okay, that's one. That's three center. Okay, so I think you're going for. He's playing a 3 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll come with ours.
Okay.
I like the way a Pulisic idea up top. That's kind of cool.
God forbid we ever go back to a 2-man striker. I know we kind of do that a little bit with Hudson on one of our odd rosters against Mexico. It was against Mexico, actually. We went to what was classified, what I classified as the empty bucket. And it did not pan out. But I blame that on the players playing it.
They'd never played it before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We didn't do this one, no.
I don't believe Brooks yelled, but he should have yelled at GGG for those Leggett and Sands rosters and never playing him with Ream, Richards, or EPB. I'm not woke, but when you judge black players on a different scale to keep them off the team, it's called racism. I don't know, dude. I'm not going to get into this racism thing because that's a bit heavy. But I will say that there's obviously some behavioral issues. And maybe it's cultural too, because Brooks is mostly German, let's be honest. And so maybe it's that too. I just don't think that it's all about what you're saying it's about. Because there are obviously plenty of African-American and black players on the team. So maybe it's just about guys who get along with you in the cultural way you like to be getting along with.
I think USSF's vibe guy is the one who picks which black players get picked, right? I think Roldan's out there picking them.
I don't know. I don't think every time Brooks has got screwed, it's because of just racism. I just think that there are other things we don't know about.
Well,
like I would have been love to hear more than the rumors. I wish there was tape that we could get our hands on of that locker room Honduras halftime thing when he
Well,
throws whatever he threw. I believe it was his shoes. And not at Gregg either. Just
probably at his lockers, my guess.
Against the wall, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we saw him included with Klinsmann early on. And then he was initially under Berhalter. Then the incident occurred. And then you never heard from him again. I mean, what that screams to me is that Berhalter holds grudges.
Oh God, he does.
And he doesn't let water go under any bridge. It's like, nope, we're damming that bridge up. There's no water going through.
But to be fair, Klinsmann held grudges too.
Yeah, Donovan didn't go to 2014. Of course he held grudges.
He and Donovan had like the worst relationship possible, and that all played out in the worst way possible. So lots of managers hold grudges. There's no doubt about it. And I am not saying there's absolutely no element of race that goes into this. I don't know how much or too little. Everybody has their unconscious biases, right? But I think you can't go into every conversation with that as your lens, or else you can't have a conversation at all, because then the immediate assumption is bigotry. When the immediate assumption, I like to think, would be, let's look into all the reasons before we get to the worst one possible, right? I don't want to go straight to the worst reason. I want to look at all the other reasons first. I'm not going to assume anything, actually, when I start my thinking. I'm going to start from the basics and work my way into the details. And if I sense that and I smell it, I'll go there. If I smell it and I see it, and I got the facts to back it up. But I can't just say, just because the Norse god keeps getting called up every fucking time, no matter how good or bad he plays, it's just because he's a Norse god, which he isn't, by the way.
Using Larry's term against him there.
Yeah, he's not. I think there's a comfort level that is cultural. I think that Gregg and the MLS guys got along just great. But I think a lot of the foreign-born American players or raised in, say, Germany have had a harder time making a case for themselves. And it's not just racial, it's also cultural. I think Brooks, being very German, doesn't help for him. His English isn't very good.
I was going to say, do you think it could be along the lines of, even to an extent, just for what caused the divide before the explosion in Honduras, whereas a lot of the MLS guys may be yes men at that point, like, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that. Whereas Brooks might be like, why am I doing that? Questioning things here at first, and then all of a sudden it gets a little more heated as things progress.
Everybody always said that Jermaine Jones, outside, and a little bit of Dempsey too, always got leeway with Klinsmann. Like, they could go and yell at Klinsmann, and Klinsmann be like, that's okay. I can deal with you guys. I love you guys. For whatever reason, Jermaine Jones playing on Berhalter's team wouldn't last fucking 10 minutes, because he would be up in Gregg's face, and it'd be over in 10 minutes. Jermaine Jones would never have played for Gregg, because Gregg can't handle that. But you remember the game we were playing against Mexico when we were down? We were playing a 3-4-3, I believe, at the time. And Jermaine Jones ran to the sideline during a break and said, what the fuck are we doing? We are getting our asses kicked out of here. You've got to change the fucking formation now. And what did Klinsmann do? He immediately changed the formation. He didn't go, fuck you, get back and do your job. He said, okay, we'll change it. You know what? And he did. But would Gregg have put up with that shit? Hell no, he wouldn't have.
That's an interesting point. Would Gregg have put up with Zlatan?
Fuck no. No way. Gregg would never have. If the Columbus Crew tried to sign Zlatan, Gregg would have ran for the hills. You tell me one player with a massive ego that Gregg has ever gotten along with, ever, in his career and as a manager. This many. Zero. And when I'm talking about ego, I'm talking about those kind of egos like Zlatan's and Brooks and Jermaine Jones. Those are killers. Those guys are killers. They're not only sure of themselves and have big egos, They'll tell you you're full of shit.
Did you say that he got
Greg,
along with Gio up until the World Cup, though? I mean, there's a family ties there, so that always helps.
That's the only reason, though.
Yeah.
Because I know Gio's very cocky. Matthew Hoppe, there can't be another guy that's more cocky than Matthew Hoppe. And listen, guys that are great players, and I'm not saying Matthew Hoppe is or is going to be, we don't know yet, but guys like Gio Reyna, with that kind of ability, they tend to be a little fucking cocky. You got to live with some of that shit. And if you're Matarazzo, you learn to figure out how to work with a player like John Brooks because he's going to be an important cog in your staying up from relegation. By the way, Stuttgart beat Hamburg to stay. I mean, aggregate was 6-1. I don't like that playoff system they have in the German Bundesliga where the third place team in Bundesliga 2 has to play the worst team because the worst team in Bundesliga is usually going to beat the third place team in 2 Bundesliga. I mean, I like it better. Just give them a chance, Hamburg, to go up, and they'll buy some players, and they'll go back up. But to ask them to beat Stuttgart, who are full of pros of a higher level, that just doesn't seem very fair to me. I mean, that's why I like kind of the automatic thing. Some people think it's more fair, and I can see that point of view too. But then if you think that, then shouldn't all of the teams that get in the promotion realm for Bundesliga 2 have to play their way in through playing all the relegated teams in the Bundesliga? And if that's the case, barely any of them would ever get up. They'd never get promoted. Yeah.
The top 3 Bundesliga teams got to face the bottom 3 top 3 Bundesliga 2 face bottom 3 of the Bundesliga 1.
Right.
And obviously the 17th place plays third and so forth all the way down.
Yeah.
And you're saying like how many of those would actually progress up? I don't know if US Open Cup is any indication.
Not many. All right, Adam Wiggins says, this has been my theory since the appointment of BJ last week. Between BJ and Hudson, BJ is more like Gregg. I agree. USSF is, because just listen to his language. Hudson, stop using that putrid, fucking dogmatic horseshit stuff. I like the collective and a journey.
My system.
Journey, collective, fuck all that shit. Hudson talk like a real human being. Okay. USF is going back with BJ until they can figure out a way to tell us they are bringing Gregg back. The writing is on the wall. Gregg part 2 coming. Between people telling me that Gregg is definitely coming back and then Jesse Marsh is definitely going to be hired, I think that, I mean, how can anybody be this sure about anything at this point? We got clowns running this shit. We don't know. Whatever the eventual answer is, let's hope it's not clownery. But it could be jackassery, and we're going to have to get ready for that. Thor's Cousin Z, $2. Thank you, Thor's Cousin Z. That's your first. I mean, I've never seen you before, so I'm glad you're here. I don't know what that Mickey Mouse thing's about, but if you're having a good time, I don't care, what picture you use.
Part of the clubhouse.
As long as it's not a giant vagina as your thumbnail, I'm good with it. I think we're done, Brett.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the $2, Thor's Cousin, for that soccer ball emote.
Yeah, and make sure you like, subscribe, share with your grandma. Whatever you got to do to spread the word, please spread the word. Because it helps. It helps us. And because, YouTube are regularly fucking us. They're like, oh, yeah, you're just immediately, what is it? What do they say? Not demonetized, but you're limited.
Limited, yeah.
Yeah, we're limited. Every show, auto limited. They're like, yeah, you're just limited. Fuck you. And, I get it. We say fuck a lot. Anyway, whatever. But it's not like, God, it's not like we say or talk about horrible things. We just talk about life and shit, and what's
occasional shark attack when the person gets bit in half,
Yeah, but that's just life. That's not even that gruesome or anything. I don't get it. That's just what I mean. It's gruesome. It's gruesome, but it's not like, oh well, we're talking about his intestines floating on the water or whatever, and all the seals munching on it. I don't know. anyhow, make sure you like again and subscribe because we got a lot of people watching. We need more likes. And make sure you reach out to the ladies. Okay, reach out to the ladies, get them involved. Ladies that like soccer, or ladies that like to talk about nuts and dicks and
So we had
ball sacks.
30 minutes of some fluff in there. Sometimes we don't even talk about soccer.
Yeah, and listen, if your lady is also your stepsister, we're completely fine with it. We'll see you the next time on the Straight Red Card.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!